Welcome back. It's coming up to 18 minutes after 5. We are in the last hour of today on this Wednesday evening. If you have just joined us, we bring you an update on this story now. A new project aimed at encouraging youth to start food gardens has been launched. In fact, former President Kgalema Motlanthe has addressed delegates at the launch earlier. With the country facing a deepening hunger crisis, could this be the solution? That's a big question. And to help us answer that, we've got our reporter Moloko Moloto live for us in studio, and he was covering this story. This is a big reality for a lot or a majority of South Africans, food security. How was this addressed at the launch today?
Well, you're correct. In terms of a report that was released on, I think, in April this year by Statistics South Africa, it's a report that's detailing the realities of about 2.1 million households in South Africa that have at that time indicated that they were experiencing hunger in South Africa. Now, only about 17.3% of households in South Africa are confirmed to be actively involved in agricultural activity. Now, today, the former president of the country, Kgalema Motlanthe, was at Jules High School, essentially to encourage young people that he says must be taught about food production. And he says, in terms of that particular agricultural project that he is championing, spearheaded by his foundation and his wife, Kgalema Motlanthe, you don't really need a farmland. You can do that in school, you can do that even in the backyard.
Right.
And he is hoping that at least it would be replicated across the country, and people, as they are grappling with joblessness, hunger, as well as, you know, the uncertain future. Some people, they are simply never going to find a job, a formal job. So it would be important at least for them to engage into such agricultural activity.
And from his foundation, Moloko, what sort of steps is he taking to ensure that people are aware of how hydro gardens work and how easy it actually is to just have a hydro garden in your own backyard?
Yeah, from what he's saying and what also Ms. Motlanthe is saying, they're saying the one that they launched today at Jules High School is just one of many that are yet to come.
Sure.
Moving even beyond the borders of Gauteng province. But obviously, this is not a matter that they would want to do on their own. That is why the word is that at least all of us as South Africans, one way or the other, should find a way of doing that. But of course, that was not the only thing that the former president spoke about. We had a one-on-one with him, asking him about issues of current affairs. We know that the South African government is now dealing with this issue of whether to allow the Russian president to come here. If he does come, are we going to arrest him, since South Africa is a party to the Roman Statute? And I asked the former president his views, considering the fact that already last year he said that Russia must be condemned for invading Ukraine. So I wanted to know from him whether he would support the calls to arrest President Vladimir Putin when he arrives here. Let's listen to him.
Sure.
Well, I don't think he will arrive at all, yeah. I just think there's, you know, too much hot air about it. The reality is that the Rome Statute was domesticated, so it's our own law. And we've had experience already, so I don't think, you know, we want to get ourselves into that kind of pickle here. So let's not go into that kind of speculation. He won't come.
And obviously, Moloko, there's a lot to read into that. Yeah. This is the former president speaking on this issue. Yeah. Every South African is concerned with just the veracity of everything surrounding. Yeah. And I imagine that's what you were trying to get out of him. Yeah. Do you feel he responded?
Well, he hasn't really gone into details, because I even tried to press him to say, but if you're saying he won't come, what if he comes? How are we supposed to really treat him? And he essentially was saying, look, this is just much ado about nothing. And he says We have been here before with the Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir, where South Africa government was forced by the court to arrest him, and we all know he was whisked out of the country, and that created some animosity, at least between the judiciary and the executive, considering the fact that a court order was issued.
Right.
But you're correct. This is the former president. He possibly knows that the intention out there is to say, don't come. Or I'm not too sure whether he's hoping that Vladimir Putin would simply understand that because we are party to the Roman statute, he wouldn't really want to just mess up our whole issues, because if he does come here and we defy the ICC, whereas in terms of our laws, we agree that we will arrest, it just becomes a problem there. But also remember that Russia has already said that the arrest of their president will be declaration of war. And I'm not too sure if, as a country, we really are ready to be bombarded by the nuclear bombs from Russia. We are seeing that the West, or who want him arrested, are not assisting Ukraine by going there to fight Russia. So there's no confirmation that if we arrest him and he attacks us, or Russia attacks us, they will come to our rescue. I don't even think that South Africa would even want to experiment with that kind of a scenario.
I get that. I mean, we're still dealing with the issues of Thabo Bester, as it were. The issue of Ace Magashule has been it's been a hot topic within the party. What did the former president have to say about that?
Well, Ace Magashule was, until recently, the Secretary General of the ANC, the engine of the African National Congress, and the party's National Disciplinary Committee has recommended that he be expelled for having attempted to unilaterally suspend party president Cyril Ramaphosa.
Sure.
Now, he's at that particular crossroads, and now Motlanthe, having for a long time been the Secretary General of the ANC and also the Deputy President of the ANC, I asked him whether he believes, in the context of the party's project for renewal, whether he thinks the expulsion of Ace Magashule, somebody of his stature, would assist in rebuilding the party. And he says, look, I'm not too sure about this. I would think that, these are his words, a responsible organization would want to inculcate the values and the discipline within its members so that they can understand the importance of its constitution instead of relying on disciplinary procedures to rein in them.
Moloko Moloto, thank you so much for your time this evening. That was our reporter, Moloko Moloto.